Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here. Now, I am going to do this video live, and what I'm going to be attempting to do is a how-to arcade. See, you merely adopted arcade mode. I was born in it. I was molded by it. I didn't see historical battle mode until I was already an arcade ace. By then, historical battles were nothing to me but amazing. So if you caught that, well done. But yeah, I started in arcade mode. I had no flying games under my belt. And then War Thunder came out. And then I just started derping around in arcade mode. And that eventually got me to historical battles. But it wasn't until I felt comfortable within arcade battles that I really made the jump. So this video will be how to arcade, pretty much. And it's kind of going to be... Let's just do it. We'll do it organically. We'll see what happens as it goes. So we got rice terraces, and I guess this brings up one thing. I remember first playing, and the levels are beautiful and everything, but you kind of learn the levels and kind of learn the patterns of the enemy players and where they will go. Another thing is I remember when you could drop your fuel amount down to 5 minutes. But shell racks, generally you're going to want to go not with default because they have ball rounds and they don't have as much hitting power as some of the other rounds. So know the map familiarity, and we'll kind of go over this rice terraces one. I haven't played it in quite a while, but man, this is actually one of my favorite ones, and I'll show you why. And we don't have any rockets. We don't really have to deal with anything. We have a lot. We'll just pick that one, but... So I'm going to go with Omni, and I'm going to take out my Kitty Hawk. I'm going to take out one of my better ones first. Alright. So right now you see most people going low, and in historical battles you generally rise high. And that is because altitude advantage gives you energy advantage, also gives you the tactical advantage over your enemy, as you can drop on them. You can pretty much do as you will. And I see two guys right here diving on some friendlies and a bunch of rather beefier bomber types behind, like to the left. And you can see three guys going mine, 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 seagull style on my ally there. And so I'm gonna try to drop on this guy. And that was a bit of a miss. We kind of had a lot of speed, and it has been a while. I am a little rusty with arcade, but if you can historical battle, you can arcade. That's my logic right now, and we'll put it to the test. And I see a hurricane. I'm trying to lead him here. Got some crits, aircraft destroyed. I'm mouse and keyboard. For those of you joystick elitists, there will be a day where I'll pick up my joystick and I'll put you in the ground. Until that day comes, it is mouse and keyboard, derp style action. Is that guy going down? Nope. Yeah, he is. So basically, situational awareness is probably... Situational awareness, for those of you who got confused with my muffling of that word, is probably skill number one, and that's just basically looking around a lot. So I see a Blenheim bomber, not really interested in him, as in arcade mode it would take enough to kill him, and his gunners would likely damage my plane, and at this stage in the game it's a little too early. So I see three guys chasing a friendly Su-2 over there. I-16 and two Hurricanes, relatively lighter planes, especially that I-16. So, map familiarity, there's basically two channels that most people will stick in because that's where the ground targets are. And this is something you're going to have to just accept in arcade mode, is people will do this. There's going to be three people chasing this guy. Alright, so that guy peeled off, but this guy's still tunnel vision, and that gives us that opportunity. Now we have to watch out for where that other enemy went. And we're basically going to boom away. And these are skills that you learn. He got picked up, so we can turn around now. Pick up from historical battles. It's funny. I had no real discipline in arcade mode. And then after playing historical battles and learning that you want to climb for altitude and all of that, and just really kind of realizing, hey, without that aiming indicator, it's a lot difficult to hit. You go back to arcade, and it's just relatively easy. It's kind of almost therapeutic in how much easier it is comparatively. Now that was just overshooting, and that was because I zoomed in. So sometimes zooming in can be helpful, other times it can be harmful in that you can suffer from tunnel vision. That guy got picked up. Arcade is a lot more reaction oriented, I feel like. And that's a Hayabusa, arguably one of the most maneuverable planes in the game. He just jumped on our tail. So I need to find a target. I'm sitting at 3 kills and no deaths. Not too bad. Second up on the board. We'll do a bit of a Immelman here, looking around all the time. So this guy's likely going to drop in on this Chaika, and that will hopefully give us some hitting room. But we critical hits. See, this is stuff you'd like normally feel very confident in historical battle, you'd bring them down. But in arcade, you have to literally watch them. Just babysit them all the way into the ground. And I got a friendly, and he's a lot more maneuverable than me, and I won't be able to pull that maneuver off right there. I'd likely hit the ground. Yeah, maybe just might. So I'm going to peel off that because he's going to be turning me all day. Did enough to critical him. And I might get the kill. I got an assist. Alright, so we have a Hawk. Got some hits. Spitfire's on fire over there. Hawk is behind me. Now comes the real test. A lot of people ask, how do you get someone off your tail? I don't really know. Especially that Hawk is more maneuverable, so my best chance is to just kind of milk some kills before I die. And then go towards friendlies, but out of ammo. And then just try to whip away from him. But another assist. We got 4 assists. And 4 assists basically mean you got some hits, but you didn't do enough to kill them. So he's .56. I'm slowly getting separation on him. And in arcade mode at .5, he should be hitting me. But you can generally rely on a couple things. The majority of players in arcade aren't really like ace types. And assuming you just stick to your fundamentals of evasion right here, just trying to outrun him. And then generally I like to about 2 kilometers. Alright, he pulled off. Situational awareness right now is just looking back behind you. Alright, so he's not going for heads up, so we'll get shots on him. Now the hunted becomes, or the hunter becomes the hunted, in my case. And there's a kill. So that worked out rather well. See, I didn't try any, complex evasive maneuvers. All I did was run. So a lot of keyboard work right there in those types of maneuvers. I'm going in for Jeremiah. Still missing him. Really close to the terrain right there. And now he's a boomerang, but he seems to be distracted, which allows us the perfect situation. Assuming I don't botch my approach there, so I hit my flaps. Now, guns were jammed up a bit, so we're going to have to force a reload with Y. And he's going down, so we can let him go. Someone could have potentially stolen our kill right there. But if you look on the minimap, which is, I guess, the second component aside from visually looking around, you could just use your minimap a lot when you're not looking in the direction to kind of get a feel for what's going on. You would still need to visually confirm it, or you ideally. Alright, so we got a Hurricane. He's a little more maneuverable than us. So we just gotta make it difficult. Oh. This is going to be tricky, as he is a turn fighter for sure. Alright, and the game is over, and we just got taken down at the end there, which is a shame, because that would have been a nice little ace game. But you know what? Rustiness, we're working out the rust. Yeah, so that game, I guess, was more about situational awareness. The first tenet being visually looking around, always being aware of yourself, not really wanting to drop on a target when there are enemies that will drop on you. And the second would be using your mini-map. And at the end right there, I engaged an aircraft who was more maneuverable than me, and I missed my shots. And that ended up coming back to punish me, as instead of running like I had earlier, not really realizing that, hey, if I miss my shots and this guy starts turning, I will become the prey. Instead, I decided to stick around and use an aircraft that wasn't built to outturn a Hurricane. And I tried to do it, and it ended up costing me a life at the end. So we did rather well, I would say. And someone over here with 9. Generally, I try to go for no deaths, and we got taken out at the end. Rather shameful in a way, since I was going for no deaths. But we'll repair and we'll jump in another one, and I will try out my, let's see, maybe one of the Hawks, not really sure. So yeah, know the maps, know the aircraft, and that just comes through experience. You're not going to be like, oh, first game, I know everything there is to know, unless you've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and you can pick up a lot of stuff if you watch a decent YouTuber who kind of lets you know what's going on as it's happening. So this map is going to be really flat. An altitude advantage will come kind of more into play, and there'll be 2 airfields that people will be trying to take. So I'm going to go with my Kitty Hawk. Let's check it out. Alright, so they have the sun. That is pretty big. Capture and hold the airfield. There's also a number of ground vehicles. So what that will mean is there's going to be a lot of players who, if they're not very comfortable with aerial kills, will be milking the ground targets. And if I look in over there and looking at the dots, there's 1 or 2 high flyers, and those will likely be bombers. And the sun isn't our enemy, but we could use it, as it's kind of, the sun is basically perpendicular, so most of us will be going from B to A, and the sun is to the right of it. If I fly more this direction and come in towards A and B from the sun, using the sun, I will have the sun advantage, and likely a lot of people will not see it. So we have a PE3 up high. Is that another dot? Must have been something on my monitor. I think that PE3 is the only one. So lag 3 will get just owned. That's another thing. Don't run in by yourself. Hang back. It does take time. It does take patience. And if you look at some of my earlier videos, I did not have that patience. So I gotta watch out for this PE3. Make sure he's not coming to me. Situational awareness right now. And we got some Spanish profanity potentially happening in the chat. See, this is just these are things about arcade mode you just have to learn to expect. Teammates not giving a crap about you, collisions, rams. If a plane's going down, or even in some cases, if a guy's been following you for a while and he can't take you down, that little bit of frustration gets to him, and he will generally try to ram you. You should expect that. You should not rage at that. It should be expected, and therefore, since it's expected, you are expected to avoid that situation. So if that happens to me, I walked myself into that situation, or the other guy was just a damn good pilot and ran into me, because I think it's harder to run into things. Obviously, there's exceptions if you're flying a Catalina and this guy in a Hurricane decides to drop on you. So right now I find a Heinkel 112 kind of off by himself, and a P-36 just spawned in. So if I can get this guy relatively quickly, then we're sitting pretty. And that guy was going for basically a collision where we both go heads up and no one moves. I'm hoping he's going to burn up, and I'm just going to kind of zoom out of there now. I'm getting engaged by some enemy aircraft. A lot of red behind me. Still hoping. Yeah, there it is. And then I'll try to grab another Hurricane with a nice... I zoomed in right there to kind of get a sense of the direction he was going. Ah, see, I'm missing my shots. This thing is not very maneuverable. Or rather, it's a little different. So a bit of a loop right there. And my allies are behind me, so they're actually more dangerous to me than this guy is, obviously. As I have the advantage, I'm trying to finish him off. I can't get my guns to bear. And it's kind of just laughable. And through this tunnel vision and my desperation to basically kill this guy off, look at that. Almost collided with an ally. Granted, it was his action and not mine that kind of provoked that. Near the end, I basically asked for it by chasing that guy, knowing he was chasing him. So if that guy ran into me, I could spam the chat and say, "Oh my god, you silly noob, blah 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 blah." You know, all manner of just like whatever. But it's just a waste of time. You gotta expect these things to happen in arcade mode. That's basically, you know, it's a fundamental gameplay aspect of arcade. A20, I don't want to go after him. He's rather beefy. I'm seeing who is chasing. Kind of finding my allies. I have 3 kills. No deaths. I'm feeling good about that. I don't need to run into that mess. Now, if you're going for just, I want to get 20 kills, and I don't care how many planes I lose, go for it. You got extra planes. For me, it's just kind of fun. It's the true challenge for me would be now P40 up high. He's dropping on that Hurricane. If he had been a little more aware, he would have seen me, seeing his 2 allies around that one. And this is kind of over their enemy airbase, which will be generally better protected. Hurricane up high. I'm looking for my allies. What kind of happens, I've noticed on these kind of 2 airfield maps, is the majority of one team will be kind of covering their airbase, and then every now and then people will run over and just get ganked. Do I want to run into this? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there might be another one kind of hiding around in there. Do I want to run into 8 plays? I don't care how good I am. I don't, you know, I would be owned, is what would happen right there. So I flew away. And I'm waiting for my opportunities. You're picking your opportunities. There's certain people and there's certain play styles. I, when flying a fighter, am more of a poacher. I think my ideal play style would be fighter bomber. I have a lot of fun doing that, and when tanks come out and they're playable with aircraft, I will definitely be a ground attack, because I think that will be a ton of fun. But until that day, I'm a poacher, especially in American Kitty Hawk. Alright, so I gotta figure out who's going where, looking for my opportunities. And there's a Spit right here, and he's gonna be turning right into me. But I missed my shots. And that is kind of just my experience with this Kitty Hawk right now. If I switched to another Hawk, I'd probably be a little more maneuverable. But with 650s, it's kind of the trade-off. Less maneuverability, but you have pretty good firepower at Tier 4. Alright, so Spitfire, still kind of watching. Spitfire may be flying away. Where's he going? Not the best angle. I would have preferred to get on his tail, but I went for it. Got a little greedy right there. Getting on their tail just gives you a lot more time to shoot, and this guy's a rather good turner. So right here I need to put him in the ground, or I need to pull off him. Damage right wing, he's still flying. Contour flying, staying close to the ground. Now, aside from that good streak at the beginning, we've kind of slowed down because we've gotten cautious. It all depends on how you want to play. And now that there's tons of friendlies in the area, I think I can be a little more risky. Ah, guns are down. 6 seconds. And we heard a Cobra. Something toting a 37. I don't want him to hit me on accident. I don't really believe in kill steals either in arcade. What is going on? Is that a friendly on me? Nope. Oh, so that air Cobra was actually an enemy. So Spitfire. I got bogeys on me. So it's evasion time. And I think what I will do is just kind of contour fly right here and hope. That's really what you gotta do. Just kind of getting low. This guy's all up on me. Left black wing, so that means your turning's down, especially if you try to turn the other way. And kind of got a little more risky. But we gotta hope he'll make a mistake because we're basically gonna be going down. And I'm not really sure what happened behind me, but something happened. Someone died somehow. I don't know if it was an ally, if it was a crash. Alright, we should be able to take this guy out. If I can line up my guns right. There it is. So, used a bit of flaps and kind of overshooting, essentially. I'm really noticing how tricky this guy is in arcade mode, because you're so used to everything just being able to put their crosshairs on target. So what I could do is land, but I think right now at this point I don't really want to land and get out of the fight. So I think, yeah, look at the responsiveness kind of just dropping right there. I'm gonna go after the Hawk as he's a little more dangerous. Wait. Lit him on fire. Now we'll go after... Okay, so this guy's going down. Kind of babysit him into the ground. That worked out. Got a little Fighter Hunter award. We're at 5 kills, no deaths. So I guess you could say this is Arcade 101 if you kind of want to go for the more... I want kills, but I also want the satisfaction of staying alive. Now on my minimap, I just saw some people close. Now this is the hard part. Heinkel 111 is identifying what? When you turn around, you just see red everywhere. So we have a bomber, and that comes from aircraft familiarity. He just ran into something. There's another one on, and it's P-39. Looked like he was coming at me. You hear the shots, you hear the overshoot. We dodged that one, and that one came about because, hey, there's someone on the minimap really close. I need to identify them right away, figure out where they are, what they are, because in the first case it was a bomber, and I was like, alright, I don't have to worry about him. Now it's this air Cobra, and he is dangerous. Look at all that fire. This is what happens when you go off on your lonesome. So at this point, alright, yeah, he got taken down, and we're at 4 assists right now. Black wing, so we're a lot less maneuverable than we were, and given some of the other aircraft. So it sounds like our airfield just was getting bombed. Where is he? There he is, Heinkel 111 up high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the scorecard and kind of get an idea of kills. We have a guy at 10, 8, me at 5. On the other team, there's 6, 4, and 3. So I can tell that we're winning in kills. So I'm going to be a little more aggressive because I'm starting to realize that we have more aircraft still in the game than they do. So we're going to have we're going to have numerical superiority, and I'm going to be looking for situations of local superiority, where basically in that section of the game we have, it looks like 5 on 3 at cursory glance. Over there, I mean, at this point there's not going to be too many areas you don't have local superiority. P40 up high, we got to be mindful of him, but given the state of our plane, we're not going to try to climb to chase him. I think he might be going after the Beaufort, but still I'm going to want to keep that in the back of my head, hey. And I don't want to go heads up. I don't want to lure people into going heads up. Wow. That guy just got shredded by a bow fighter and fired his rockets off. Alright, so that guy got taken down too. So medium tanks, Ki-45s, trying to shoot the medium tanks. Unless it's a light tank, I wouldn't go for it. I was thinking about a landing, but I realized a lot of these guys were hiding in the sun. So I'm going to be turning around, and I'm going to be going for this Hurricane, who might just be tunnel visioned on this Ki-45. Got some hits. My allies are coming in to kind of finish him off. I'm not very maneuverable, so I just got to kind of hope he's going to play into my hand. He kind of did right there. And I got the shot. That was, I would say that was kind of lucky. Now when flying close to friendlies, you have to be watching out for those collisions. So now I see over there, the red team actually has local superiority in that area. Looks like there's 3 of us, and they have a good 6, 7. Heinkel 111 coming in. I'm going to try to get maybe some pilot snipes right here. See if it works out. No, I'm not even getting any hits. Ceasefire, as my friend was just in the path of my shots. Looks like we killed his gunner. Almost running into some friendly fire there. That's the thing. Just expect it. It's not going to change overnight. Historical battles, a lot better. But this is just how arcade is. When you have more than one plane, the whole thought of, hey, my teammates are going to help me out. They're really going to be concentrating on not just kills, but actually winning the game and teamwork and all that stuff. It's not going to happen in arcade. If you want that type of situation, find some buddies, squad up. That's really the best way to do that. Play historical battles. And, you know, historical battles, you even still kind of need a squad. Team play isn't something that has developed, but that's kind of one of the fundamentals of the game currently at the state of the game. There's not too many incentives yet, and those should be addressed in the future. I mean, it's in beta, right? A little bit of water since I've been talking, non-stop. So I got a battle trophy, a line with a bag full of money. Looks good. But let's take a look at the score. We managed to get, I mean, in my early days of YouTube and War Thunder, I was always so proud of these moments, and they are pretty cool. I mean, I didn't get the highest score, but my KD ratio was infinity because I didn't die, you know, or 6-0, I guess would be a more appropriate way to do it. This guy had like, what, 2 point something kills to 1 death, 2.5, you know, whatever. And, I mean, KD ratio is good. He got a ton of points, and that's pretty cool. S4G, whatever. Looks like, see, they probably had a squad. 2 of them did rather well. You're going to see squads generally will perform and be higher up in the rankings. And our team did rather good. They had 1 or 2 pretty good pilots. And, see, look at this. This kind of goes to show you what you can expect. That map, there was ground targets. That wasn't the objective, but people will still go for those to milk points and get their lines. And I remember in my early days, whenever there was a target of opportunity, or if they were very simple, you know, very easy targets, like I just shot someone down, there wasn't anyone else around, and just going maybe a few seconds out of my way to get a ground kill, I would do that. In this one, I was kind of going for more fighter superiority role. But you can expect a lot of the newer and more novice players to do that. And a lot of times they'll be oblivious to what's going on around them. They will sacrifice focusing on situational awareness in order to get a few lines. And so while they're going for a ground kill, you're going for a poacher kill. And air kills are more valuable. So you have to be aware of the types of players. Okay? There's going to be a few good players, you know, on each map. There's going to be a lot of average ones. and then a few guys that either had a rough game or they're new to the game. So situational awareness can pretty much land you at the middle to the top if you just play smart most times, because poaching, its prerequisite is situational awareness. You cannot poach kills if you can't anticipate the situations whereby you can poach. So, I've kind of been rambling on about that, but I think you get what I'm trying to say at this point. Yeah, pretty good game, not too bad, and I would say that that's how I play arcade. When I'm playing arcade, I'm thinking my way through it. I'm not trying to outpilot really anybody. I just think my way through it. I plan ahead. You're evaluating the pros and the cons, the potential consequences. If I go for this guy, well, those two guys kind of one click behind him will likely shoot me down. But if I choose the back guy out of that group of three, I might be able to shoot down all three of those. But I'll have to wait a little more and reposition myself to drop on that back one instead of this first one that looks like the easier kill immediately. Long term versus short term. So I'm Baron, and that is How to Arcade. Situational awareness, fighter familiarity, understanding the types of players, understanding that your teammates will not do a thing for you unless it will benefit themselves. This is arcade. Don't expect it. Embrace it. Enjoy it. And I'm Baron, and as always, thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know if you did find it helpful, anything else you would like to hear about or whatnot. And I'm going to get back to finding some screenshots of tanks, playing Rome, playing Men of War, and obviously playing the crap out of War Thunder, and waiting for tanks. Cannot wait for tanks. But you watch my stuff, you already know that by now. I'm going to say it probably in every video I do. I'm Baron. Thanks for watching. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here. So today we are going to be seeing the F2A3 Buffalo in its natural environment, and that is killing Chaikas. This thing is armed with 50 caliber machine guns, more than enough firepower to quickly evaporate Chaikas in a good 1 to 2 second burst if you land them on target. And we're going to be checking out some squad tactics and just pretty good squad play for this first clip. Where my friend Star and I pretty much just ran the table even after our team was pretty much done.